Have you ever pondered the vastness of the cosmos, the intricate dance of life and death? The universe whispers secrets, and one of them might just be your own immortality. What if I told you that death, as we know it, might be an illusion, a mere blip in your infinite journey? Intrigued? You should be. We're about to journey into the mind-boggling world of quantum mechanics, a realm where reality is as slippery as a greased eel, and possibilities outnumber the stars in the sky. Buckle up because things are about to get weird, wonderful, and maybe just a tad terrifying. Together we'll explore the audacious theory of quantum immortality, the idea that your consciousness, your very essence, might just be untethered from the shackles of time and mortality. So, open your mind, silence your inner skeptic, and get ready to have your perception of life, death, and everything in between turned upside down. Now, to understand quantum immortality, we need to take a crash course in the wacky world of quantum mechanics. Imagine a reality where particles don't play by the rules we're used to, a place where things can be in multiple states at once, like a cosmic game of hide-and-seek. Welcome to the quantum playground, where the very fabric of reality is woven from probabilities, not certainties. Here, subatomic particles, the building blocks of everything, dance to the rhythm of their own bizarre tune. In this realm, things can be both a wave and a particle, existing in a state of superposition until someone or something decides to observe them. And if that doesn't make your head spin, hold on tight because we're about to introduce a concept that's even weirder: the many worlds interpretation. Imagine a cat sealed inside a box with a diabolical contraption. This isn't just any feline. This is Schrödinger's cat, the poster child for quantum weirdness. Inside the box, a quantum event, say the decay of an atom, determines the cat's fate. If the atom decays, the cat meets an untimely end. If not, the cat lives to purr another day. But here's the kicker. Until we open the box and observe the outcome, the cat exists in a state of superposition, both alive and dead. Now you might be thinking, that's crazy. The cat is either alive or dead, right? And in the everyday world you'd be right. But in the quantum realm, things are different. Until we make an observation, both possibilities exist simultaneously. This is where the many worlds interpretation comes in. It suggests that instead of the cat being both alive and dead in the same universe, the act of opening the box splits the universe in two. So how does this relate to you and your potential immortality? Well, imagine that every decision you make, every fork in the road of life, is like opening Schrödinger's box. Each choice creates a split in the universe, a branching path where all possible outcomes exist in their own separate realities. In one universe you ordered the pizza, in another, you opted for a salad. The possibilities are endless. Now picture this on a grander scale. Instead of pizza or salad, we're talking life or death scenarios. A near-fatal car crash, a sudden illness, even just the natural process of aging. Each event presents a quantum choice. According to the theory of quantum immortality, your consciousness, your awareness follows the path of survival. In every life or death situation, there's always a universe where you make it out alive, even if it's just by a hair. Section 1. Quantum Mechanics. A crash course for the intrigued. Hold on to your hats, folks, because we're about to dive headfirst into the wacky world of quantum mechanics. It's a realm where the rules of classical physics, the ones we're used to in our everyday lives, go out the window. Think of it like this. If classical physics is like navigating a well-organized library with neatly labeled shelves, then quantum mechanics is like stumbling into a cosmic dance party, where books are flying through the air. But fear not, intrepid explorers of the subatomic. While it might seem intimidating at first, quantum mechanics is simply the way the universe operates at its most fundamental level. We're about to explore the fundamental building blocks of quantum immortality, and trust me, it's going to be one wild ride. Section 2. Superposition, embracing the quantum tango. Now let's talk about one of the most mind-boggling concepts in quantum mechanics, superposition. It's the idea that a quantum particle, like an electron or a photon, can exist in multiple states at the same time, like a cosmic dancer, gracefully twirling between different positions on the dance floor. Imagine a coin spinning in the air. Before it lands, it's both heads and tails simultaneously. That's kind of what's happening with particles in superposition. They exist in a blurry, undefined state, a quantum tango of possibilities, until we measure them. But here's where things get really weird. The act of measuring a particle in superposition forces it to choose one state or the other, collapsing the wave function, as physicists like to say. It's like the universe is saying, okay, time to pick a lane. This means that our very act of observation influences the outcome of quantum events. We're not just passive observers in the quantum world, we're active participants, shaping reality with our curiosity. And this, my friends, is where the path to quantum immortality begins to take shape. Section 3. The Many Worlds Interpretation. A Universe of You. Now, if the idea of superposition wasn't mind-blowing enough, hold on tight because we're about to take a wild ride into the realm of the Many Worlds Interpretation. This theory, proposed by physicist Hugh Everett III, suggests that every time a quantum measurement is made, the universe splits into multiple parallel universes, each representing a different possible outcome. That's right, you heard me correctly. In this view, there isn't just one reality, but an infinite number of them, all coexisting alongside each other like branches on a cosmic tree of possibilities. So imagine this. In one universe, you're reading this right now, sipping your coffee and pondering the mysteries of the cosmos. In another universe, you're a rock star, belting out tunes to a stadium full of adoring fans. And in yet another, you're a chef, whipping up culinary masterpieces that would make Gordon Ramsay weep with envy. The possibilities are truly endless, and each one, according to the Many Worlds interpretation, is just as real as the one you're experiencing right now. Now you might be thinking, okay, this is all very interesting, but what does it have to do with me being immortal? Well, to understand that, we need to talk about another fundamental principle of quantum mechanics. Uncertainty. Unlike classical physics, where we can, in theory, know both the position and momentum of an object with perfect accuracy, quantum mechanics throws us a curveball in the form of Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. This principle states that we can never know both the exact position and momentum of a particle at the same time. It's like the universe is playing a cosmic game of dice with reality, and we're only allowed to see one side of the die at a time. This inherent uncertainty, this fundamental randomness at the heart of reality, is what opens the door to the possibility of quantum immortality. So, we've explored the bizarre and beautiful world of quantum mechanics, from superposition to the many worlds interpretation, to the inherent uncertainty baked into the fabric of reality. Now let's tie it all together and dive into the mind-bending concept of quantum immortality. Remember Schrödinger's cat, stuck in that box, both alive and dead until we peek inside? Well, imagine that you're the cat, and every moment of your life is like a quantum measurement, splitting the universe into countless possibilities. In some of those universes, you'll experience joy, love, and fulfillment. In others, you'll face challenges, heartbreak, and loss. And in some, you'll reach the end of your natural lifespan. But here's where quantum immortality comes in. According to this theory, your consciousness, your subjective experience of being, doesn't simply vanish when your physical body dies. Instead, it rides the waves of quantum possibilities, shifting to a universe where you continue to exist, perhaps in a different form or with a different set of experiences. Now I know what you're thinking. This all sounds a bit far-fetched, right? Like something out of a science fiction novel, not a serious scientific theory. And to be fair, quantum immortality is highly speculative, even among physicists who spend their days pondering the mysteries of the universe. It requires a certain leap of faith, a willingness to entertain the possibility that our understanding of reality, of life and death, might be woefully incomplete. It asks us to consider that the universe might be far stranger, far more wondrous, and far more forgiving than we ever imagined. But here's the thing about science. It's not about clinging to our preconceived notions, no matter how comforting they might be. It's about following the evidence, wherever it might lead, even if it takes us to the very edge of our understanding, and forces us to confront the unknown. And when it comes to quantum mechanics, The evidence suggests that the universe is far more mysterious, far more interconnected, and far more open to possibilities than we ever dared to dream. Imagine, if you will, that your life isn't a single linear story, but rather a vast, intricate tapestry woven from countless threads of possibility. Each thread represents a different path you could have taken, a different choice you could have made, a different version of yourself that could have been. In this tapestry of existence, death isn't an abrupt end, but rather a gentle unraveling, a merging of threads as your consciousness shifts from one reality to another, always seeking the path of least resistance, the path of continued existence. It suggests that we are all, in a sense, eternal beings, our consciousnesses dancing through the multiverse, experiencing an infinite array of possibilities across the vast canvas of time and space. Now, you might be wondering, if our consciousness is constantly shifting between realities, why don't we remember any of it? Why does this life, this particular thread in the tapestry, feel like the only one we've ever known? Well, that's where things get really interesting. You see, our memories, our sense of self, are intimately tied to our physical brains. They're like software programs running on the hardware of our neurons and synapses. And when that hardware fails, when our physical bodies die, those memories, that sense of self, might not be able to make the jump to a new reality. It's like trying to upload a program from a broken computer. The data might still be there, but without a functioning system to access it, it's essentially lost. But what if consciousness itself, the underlying awareness that experiences those memories, is something more fundamental, something that exists independently of our physical bodies? What if it's like a cosmic hitchhiker, thumbing a ride on the backs of countless realities, experiencing life after life, death after death, without carrying over the baggage of past experiences? If quantum immortality is true, it means that death, as we perceive it, is an illusion. It's not the end of our existence, but rather a transition, a shifting of perspectives, a continuation of our journey through the vast multiverse. It frees us from the fear of death, allowing us to embrace the present moment with a renewed sense of wonder and appreciation. Of course, quantum immortality is still a highly speculative theory, and there's no guarantee that it's true. But even if it turns out to be nothing more than a thought-provoking idea, it has the power to change our perspective on life and death. It encourages us to live our lives to the fullest, to embrace every moment as a precious gift, to explore the vast tapestry of possibilities that lie before us. Because if quantum immortality is true, then death is not the end, but rather a new beginning, a continuation of our cosmic journey through the infinite realms of possibility. So, we're dabbling with the idea that we might be bouncing between universes like cosmic pinballs, always surviving, always experiencing. But here's a head-scratcher. What happens to free will in this scenario? If we're constantly veering towards survival, are our choices truly our own? It's a question that's plagued philosophers for centuries. Do we have control over our destinies, or are we just along for the ride? Now, toss in quantum immortality, and you've got yourself a philosophical cocktail strong enough to make your brain do backflips. Some might argue that if we're always guided towards survival, our choices are predetermined. Like following a cosmic script, we're simply playing out the role of the survivor, our decisions mere illusions. A bit disheartening, isn't it? But what if it's not that simple? What if free will in a quantum multiverse is less about making choices and more about experiencing consequences? Imagine each decision creating a fork in the road, each path leading to a different universe, a different you. Picture this. In one universe, you decided to eat that extra donut. You rebel, you indulge, and bam, you're living the sweet life, pun intended. But in another universe, you opted for a healthier breakfast. You're disciplined, you're fit, and you're conquering marathons with the stamina of a superhero. Are both versions of you, or are they separate entities entirely? Echoes of yourself rippling through the multiverse. It's enough to make you question the very nature of identity. The implications are staggering. What if every choice, no matter how small, spawns a new version of ourselves, each living out a unique and independent existence? The universe becomes a stage for an infinite number of parallel lives, each a testament to the power of choice, even if we don't consciously remember making them. This perspective reframes the concept of regret. What if those what-ifs we agonize over are actually alternate realities we're experiencing right now, just not in this particular branch of the multiverse? It's a comforting thought, knowing that somewhere out there, another version of you might just be living out your wildest dreams. But let's not shy away from the elephant in the room: morality. If death isn't a guarantee, how does that impact our ethical compass? Does quantum immortality give us a free pass to live recklessly? It's a slippery slope, no doubt about it. If our actions have no lasting consequences, what's to stop us from indulging in our darkest impulses? It's a question that's both terrifying and exhilarating. Some might argue that the knowledge of our own potential immortality could lead to a more compassionate society. If we truly believe that every version of ourselves exists somewhere, wouldn't that make us more understanding? After all, they're just us, experiencing a different set of circumstances. On the other hand, it could just as easily lead to apathy. If nothing truly matters in the grand scheme of the multiverse, why bother striving for good? Why not just embrace chaos, knowing that somewhere a version of us will always survive? The moral implications are as complex and multifaceted as the multiverse itself. Now let's talk about the psychological impact of grappling with quantum immortality. Imagine carrying the weight of infinite possibilities, the knowledge that you'll never truly cease to exist. It's enough to make even the most grounded individual feel a tad unhinged. The human mind, for all its wonders, isn't exactly built for eternity. We crave boundaries, limitations, a sense of finiteness to give our lives meaning. So, what happens when those boundaries dissolve? When the concept of an ending becomes as fluid as the fabric of space-time itself? It's a recipe for existential overload, a cosmic crisis of epic proportions. The sheer vastness of it all, the unending cycle of life, death, and rebirth, could easily send us spiraling into a vortex of existential dread. But what if, instead of fearing this infinite loop, we embrace it? What if we view it not as a burden, but as a liberation, a cosmic invitation to explore the furthest reaches of our potential across a tapestry of endless possibilities? Now, before we get too lost in the philosophical weeds, let's take a step back and sprinkle in a dash of cosmic perspective. Remember, quantum immortality is still a theory, a mind-bending thought experiment, not a definitive answer to the mysteries of life and death. It's entirely possible that we're misinterpreting the data, that our limited human minds haven't yet grasped the true nature of consciousness or the vastness of the multiverse. We might be trying to fit a square peg into a round black hole, so to speak. But even if quantum immortality turns out to be a cosmic red herring, the very act of contemplating it forces us to expand our thinking, to confront our deepest fears and desires. It reminds us that the universe is far stranger, far more wondrous, and far more hilarious than we could ever imagine. So the next time you're feeling small, insignificant, or just plain terrified of the great unknown, remember this: you might just be an immortal being, surfing the waves of a multiverse teeming with infinite possibilities. And that, my friends, is a truly mind-blowing thought to ponder. Let's bring quantum immortality down to earth for a moment, shall we? Imagine you're late for work, rushing to catch the bus. You trip, stumble, and miss it by a hair. Annoying, right? Now imagine that seemingly insignificant event was a quantum coin toss. In this universe, you're fuming, late for that soul-crushing meeting. But in another, the bus sailed off without you just as a runaway piano came barreling down the street. Spooky, right? Quantum immortality suggests that every close call, every near miss, every woo, that was close, moment might be evidence of this cosmic branching, a subtle hint that you're living out countless lives simultaneously, even if you only remember one. Think about it. That time you swerved to avoid a deer in the road, that last-minute decision to skip that flight, even that gut feeling that made you switch lines at the grocery store. Each event could be a point where your consciousness veered onto a slightly different path, a path where another version of you might have experienced a very different outcome. We've all felt it, that eerie sense of familiarity, like you've stepped into a scene from a dream. Déjà vu, that fleeting feeling of I've been here before, might be more than just a quirk of the brain. What if it's a glitch in the matrix, a momentary overlap between parallel universes? Imagine your consciousness for a fleeting second tapping into the memories of another you, living out a similar but subtly different experience. It's as if you're catching a glimpse through a cosmic window, a brief peek into another version of your life playing out on a parallel screen. Maybe in that other reality, you ordered the chicken instead of the fish, or perhaps you took a left turn instead of a right. Or maybe, just maybe, it's a sign that you're not just a single entity but rather a multifaceted being, your essence spread across an infinite spectrum of possibilities. It's enough to make you question the very fabric of reality, isn't it? Now let's venture into even more mysterious territory: near-death experiences, NDEs. Those who have brushed against the precipice of death often report profound life-altering experiences. A sense of peace, a tunnel of light, encounters with deceased loved ones. Could these be glimpses of what lies beyond, a preview of the quantum leap our consciousness takes as it transitions to another reality? Imagine your consciousness, momentarily untethered from the physical body, catching a glimpse of the larger cosmic dance before snapping back into this particular existence. It's a tantalizing thought, isn't it? While science struggles to explain the phenomenon of NDEs, perhaps quantum immortality offers a framework, a hint that death isn't the end, but rather a doorway to a realm beyond our current comprehension. Of course, we can't rule out the possibility that NDEs are simply the brain's way of coping with trauma, a surge of neurological activity as the lights flicker and fade. But the sheer number of these experiences, the consistent themes that emerge, suggest there might be more to the story, a mystery that science has yet to unravel. Section 4. The Mandela Effect. Have you jumped universes lately? Remember when it was Berenstain Bears, not Berenstain Bears? Or when the Queen in Snow White said, "Mirror, mirror on the wall"? You might have experienced the Mandela Effect, a bizarre phenomenon where large groups of people have clear memories of something that, according to historical records, never happened. Is it just faulty memory? Or have we stumbled upon a tear in the fabric of reality, a point where our collective consciousness shifted from one universe to another, bringing our memories of a slightly different past along for the ride? Imagine a universe where Nelson Mandela died in prison in the 1980s, and another where he lived to see South Africa's liberation. Perhaps some of us, through some quantum quirk, retain memories of that alternate timeline, a timeline we once inhabited before finding ourselves in this particular iteration of reality. Or maybe, just maybe, it's a reminder that reality itself is far more fluid, far more open to interpretation than we like to think. It's enough to make you question everything you thought you knew, isn't it? Section 5. The Unending Story, Your Quantum Legacy. So, we've explored some real-life examples that might, just might, hint at the existence of quantum immortality. But here's the real kicker. Even if we never find definitive proof, the very act of contemplating these ideas changes our perspective, our relationship with the universe, and ultimately, ourselves. Imagine living your life knowing that your story doesn't end with a whimper, but continues on in countless iterations across the multiverse. What would you do differently? What risks would you take? What dreams would you dare to pursue? Quantum immortality, regardless of its veracity, invites us to embrace the unknown, to live with a sense of wonder and possibility. It reminds us that we are part of something far grander, far more interconnected than we can possibly fathom. So go out there and live your life as if it were infinite, because in the grand cosmic scheme of things, it just might be. Section 1. The Afterglow of Forever. So there you have it, fellow cosmic explorers. We've journeyed to the heart of quantum immortality, a realm where death is but a whisper. We've explored mind-bending concepts and emerged perhaps a tad bewildered. Has our adventure changed your perception of the cosmos, of life, of death? Do you feel the weight of infinite possibilities pressing upon you? It's okay if you're still grappling with it all. Quantum immortality isn't exactly a walk in the park, it's more like a cosmic roller coaster ride. A universe of you, waiting to be lived. Now I know what you're thinking. If we're all potentially immortal, hopping between universes like cosmic tourists, shouldn't we have encountered some evidence by now? The multiverse is vast and mysterious. Maybe those realities are beyond our comprehension. What if the evidence is hidden in plain sight? Could they be whispers from other realities, guiding us towards our highest potential? Embracing the quantum dance. Do we continue to fear death, or embrace it as another chapter in a grander story? Quantum immortality invites us to consider a different perspective. It encourages us to live with wonder and curiosity, to embrace the unknown with open arms. The universe is a place of infinite possibilities, where death might be a transition. So, live with purpose, passion, and a dash of cosmic absurdity. Embrace the quantum dance and explore infinite possibilities.